people, it's me, Flores J. Yeah, it's been quite some time. Why? I don't know, I cannot tell you. Yeah, we're going to talk about ENFPs today and how do you recognize them on the street. And some people on the street or at your workplace or in your school or you're doing some education. No, and people sometimes they write in the comments that why would you want to recognize somebody? Yeah, because you know how they're going to respond, and you know, ENFPs, they are a bunch of interesting people, very positive people, oftentimes upbeat people with a little detail. And this detail, you know, this video is kind of it's positive, like how can I recognize an ENFP because they're wonderful people. It's also a little bit of warning, like look out, watch out for them ENFPs, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, why? Because they're so nice. Well, yeah, so one way how you can recognize them is they have this energy around them, about them. They're pretty charismatic. You're drawn to them. They are positive, upbeat people, usually, you know, and that is what draws you to them. Because when you feel something, you feel emotions, those emotions exude. So that's what you feel, and you're drawn to them. You're like, wow, I want more of this, and you want to be around them. And they're usually people, they are impulsive in kind of an adventurous way. And, you know, people are different. So it's not to say that every ENFP wants to climb the top of a mountain. No, other ENFPs are adventurous in other ways. So, yeah, they're very impulsive in an exploratory way. They want to, yeah, it's actually their insatiable NE, which means extroverted intuition. I have dominant NE, so I'm also very curious. They're very curious. So you see them exude this energy, you want to come close to them, and then you discover, hey, they have a lot of interest. They have a lot of interest. They can talk about almost anything, which is, you know, very nice. They're very good conversationalists. And they like talking about those subjects. It's like they have so many interests and they don't have a lot of people around them which they can discuss it with, because people have limited interest, but they have so many. So if you have one of their interests in common, you can keep talking to them until daylight, you know. So that's also one of the signs that you can observe. They're very conversational, they're positive, and you would think to yourself, oh my god, these people are wonderful. They're like, yeah, I want to marry one, you know. And also they usually have a smile. They're usually smiling, but it's not an FE smile. It's not an extroverted feeling smile. Extroverted feeling smile is to project like niceness to the outside world, but this is more an FI smile. So they're smiling, but they're smiling because of their own joy. So it's not because of you, not because they want to please you or make you feel comfortable. They just feel very joyous. Okay, so here comes the but, okay, that I'm trying to worry you about. And I don't want to say that they're people you should avoid or something. No, I talk to an ENFP every day. And the reason why I can talk to an ENFP every day is you have to curb your expectations. And that's the thing. So you're like, oh my god, this person's wonderful, we had a great time, we met at a party, we went to go do this and that, and we had so much fun, let's meet up again. Even if you've known them for a long time and you're like, let's meet up. Okay, and then comes the moment you're like, okay, we're gonna have so much fun today, we have these plans and we're gonna do this and it's gonna be awesome. You're like, okay, so it's noon, or I don't know what time you meet. Hmm. 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 Yeah. Oh, I don't see them yet. Oh, let me call them on the phone. Voicemail. That's strange. Did something happen? No, I'm gonna break it to you. Nothing happened. Except they changed their minds. They changed their minds, and because they have secondary FI, this that is introverted feeling, they follow that feeling always. It's not they're going to think, oh, I have an appointment, because so that's important and it's logical to. No, they're not. It's like they respond to feeling. And I do have to say that as people get older and as ENFPs get older, they mature. Okay, so more mature ENFPs will be like, at this time I don't feel like going, but hey, this is an important person to me and we did make an appointment and maybe I'm gonna have fun there anyway, and so I'm going to go, or at least I'm going to call to cancel. But the more immature ones and ENFPs, that's another thing, they have this childlike quality. Okay, it's their dominant NE, so extroverted intuition, combined with their secondary introverted feeling. That introverted feeling always, it directs where they go in life, like how do they feel. And this NE, that's curiosity. So in the outside world. So they have this, that's actually the qualities that a child has. They're curious and they follow their impulse. So they have this childlike quality, and childlike, yeah, and other people see that as being childlike, but at the, when they do not show up for their appointment, or they don't take care of their obligations, the outside world will see that as childish. Not being really dependable is one thing, because as soon as you know it, if you're not an ENFP, or you are, as soon as you know that the ENFP is not very dependable, you can, lower your expectations. But what you probably don't expect, and I've seen people in relationships with ENFPs and being surprised at this, and they found out later on the relationship, is that this wonderful positive person, which an ENFP is and very charismatic, is actually pretty selfish, pretty self-centered.
I bring home a birthday cake and a few gifts. You bring home the goddamn San Diego Zoo and I have to clean up after.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's not toxic waste, it's a few parties.
And this sounds negative, but they have this introverted feeling that observes in real time their emotions. So that's where they place the most value. And, combined with their dominant extroverted intuition, if they're curious about this, curious about that, they will disregard what you want, what's good for you, what's best for you. And people often, I'm very observant, so I notice it even in friendships, but you really notice it when you're in a relationship with one, or if it's your kid or your parent, that you're like, oh my God, how can you do this? How can you be like this? And, I have an ENFP family member, and she's wonderful, she's great. And I know that back in the day when I was little, her mother would always complain like, oh my God, how could she do this? And I would be like, what are you talking about? She's great. She's my favorite cousin in the whole world. And she's amazing. And it's only later on that I discovered how, when I interacted with her more and lived in one space for, a couple of days or weeks, the selfish part. And it can be pretty annoying. So hey, another way you can know an ENFP, and this is also the curiosity, impulsive part, is that in the beginning, if they have plans, I always say plans, if they have plans and you know, they get these hunches, they all of a sudden they're possessed with an idea and they want to do it, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play the guitar, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a singer, oh yeah, I'm gonna travel the world. That's just I'm gonna be a photographer and I'm gonna travel the world just photographing, and you know, and at first you hear these plans of them and you're like, oh wow, because they're so enthusiastic. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and that and that, I'm gonna fly a plane and I'm gonna do that, and people are like, wow, wow, that's, you know, you're amazing, you know. It's just after a while that you know them, after knowing them, you realize and you look back, and there's going to be one point where you realize, well, it seems like today you wanna start some kind of business, while yesterday you wanted to just live off the grid. Isn't that contradicting, or I don't know? You're going to realize that a lot of things that they're enthusiastic about in the beginning, they can be super like, oh yeah, they're possessed by this idea. They usually do not follow through, and you know, it wears off. How did I say it? It leads to nothing. I'm sorry, but it's true. Most ENFPs, oh, I'm not gonna put ENFPs in here, but because I like my ENFPs. No, but most ENFPs, they have great ambitions, but ultimately they don't have the follow through to complete a project, to complete their plans, because they have this idea that if they do not follow their feeling, that it will constrict them in their freedom, and that gonna feel like, oh, so people trying to control, they feel too controlled and they don't feel free. I think what ENFPs, and this is just a little backstory, this is not how you can recognize them, but I think what ENFPs don't realize is that these strong feelings that they get, they are not per se the truth. Of course, every FI type thinks that their FI, their internal feelings, are the truth. But, sorry to tell you, but emotions are just information that you can use in certain situations. It can help you to make a decision, but it's not the only thing that you should base your decision on. But because they're so heavy in the FI, and they don't have a focus because they're, you know, they have extroverted intuition, yeah, it leads them to not completing stuff because they don't stay on one track. So that's another thing you can recognize them by. And you know, some of them, you know, it leads, and it's not always, you know, what they want, because ultimately they do want oftentimes maybe a successful career or something like that. And it's you will see some of them, you know, actually making fun of people that are more, you know, organized and are more, you know, ambitious and go towards their goals. You will see the ENFP supposedly, you know, looking down on them and talking down on them like, oh no, you're just materialistic and I am enlightened, or something like that.
Yeah. You have all the fun and I get whatever's left over.
Oh, you chose the career, Miss
I have no choices here, Daniel. I have no choices.
So that's also a way you can recognize them. So, but hey, ENFPs, you're an interesting bunch of people. You have a lot of issues. This is not to say that there are no successful ENFPs, because there are. But they have matured. And unfortunately, the most ENFPs I have met are immature. For the viewer, I think it's important to recognize them so that you don't, their issues do not come to you and you just make use of their fun, joyous side. People, if you like this video, if you want to see more videos of me, give me a like, a subscribe. If you did not like this video, leave a dislike. I don't mind, and if you don't like it, explain to me why. And I will see you in the next video.